next poet that I'd like to invite onto the stage is poet Lachlan Brown. Lachlan Brown recently completed his PhD thesis on the poetry and prose of Kevin Hart at the University of Sydney. He lives in southwest Sydney and is a part-time teacher at William Carey's Christian School. He's won the University of Sydney Union Poetry Prize and the Henry Lawson Poetry Prize. And in 2008, Lachlan won a Martin Travelling Bequest for Poetry. Lachlan's poetry in the Red Room Company land has been profiled in a project we did a while ago called Night Writing, which took place in this very room when it was more like the stage was over there and the bar was there or something. And since then, Lachlan's done a lot of work with our Paper Cuts program, which has been exceptional. He's been a great hit, I suppose you could say, with the students and I think also the teachers. He's got them writing poetry too. Recently, we were asked, the Red Room was asked to find a poet to write something for based on Lachlan Macquarie for this year. And we asked, rather than asking an individual poet, we asked Lachlan to go to Macquarie Fields High School and work with a group of students who had the job of using Macquarie's inauguration speech and turning it into a poem. And that poem was then read at Sydney Conservatorium's Open Day recently at the Paramac festival that they're doing, and we'll read at the Governor's dinner. So these two students who Lachlan worked closely with, who read the poem in public at Great Readers, are sort of doing this, travelling world tour of what started as a very small poem in our Paper Cuts program. So I'd like to welcome Lachlan Brown.
Thanks for having me. I'd like to start with that poem, which an excerpt is in the cards. It's called Evensong. Oh, to be back in the suburbs at dusk, beneath the red streaks that sometimes line the sky with their spray tan enthusiasm. This is the day worn thin, marked by the wind's sudden realizations. Trees are a nation state, a beard is horizontal. Don't you know that winter means passing houses during the family meal, each hallway bathed in a television's blue? Don't you know that we must live in the shadows of great financial institutions? But this pinstriped night, where stars bleed into city lights, where planes could be writing the evening sky somehow, where each constellation scaffolds the canopy, allowing the universe to find its breath in imperious and strange relations. When I work with students, it's great to go back to Macquarie Fields High School. I grew up in Macquarie Fields, and it's great to encourage students to write about their area. So I wanted to share a little bit. I still live in that area. I live in the next suburb, which is Ingleburn. I wanted to share a little bit about that kind of area. I'm going to do it by reading 3 or 4, we'll see how we go, sestets, 6-line poems, and I'm going to also share the first line, which is not my line. It's a line from a university student who wrote this in their creative writing exercise. So I might read 3 of them. Sestets 1. This industrial area is like Wetherill Park industrial area. A nowhere or somewhere with wide streets and trucks reversing, the Subaru Centre blessing its rows of Imprezas, or the furniture wholesaler where a flat, packed future will be the brittle souvenir of wasted days. Who says our dreams can stretch out like a roller door, curling upwards and disappearing into its automated self? 2. She loves the commute, the train noting down each suburb in its book of air, and patient doors closing over moments of concrete departure. A kid is spinning a pen around his fingers, and the universe is here, intent in its orbit, all eyes on the whir of plastic. She tries to remain still, to focus, but it won't stop rocking the carriage, this world. 5. The lawnmowers are calling from suburb to suburb, and colorbond fences click in the heat as though the sun were a meter slowly ticking through the earth's final minutes. He stops and considers all this. The grass-stained afternoon, the air thick with time, a complaint of dirt bikes skidding across the reserve. I might share one more. And I'll share with you a poem that I wrote in Paris recently. And sorry, Mum, it's got a swear in it. So it's called Lent number 2. Clouds are dark to the west of Invalides as the buses push away from the curb and the sovereignty of traffic lights stops a Mercedes, causing someone to glance up from his GPS, momentarily amazed at the changed sky. The time for national debate has apparently begun. The tricolour is flapping over Napoleon's tomb. And you tell me we cannot hope to settle this now. There is far too much at stake. There are pigeons shitting over Montfermeil, and there are rumours of discounting on the Avenue Montaigne. Every crisis has its origins in architecture or immigration or both. Can you imagine the stream of people returning to Le Bosquet's, singing Liberty's song, prompted by the hours tuning notes, and the platform now wiped clean like a brand new beginning? And so this dream becomes the evening when citizens are safely in their positions, soothed by love and small purchases and the silent water rising to fill the streets. Thanks.